setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president.
A source tells CNN the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is unhappy with this decision to investigate Powell, and he's warned Trump before of the impact that it could have on markets. Now, the White House says that Trump didn't direct this investigation, but if you listen to his many attacks, there's a clear motivation.
Did the president ever direct DOJ officials to open an investigation into Powell?
No.
I'd love to fire his ass. He should be fired. We're thinking about bringing a suit against Powell for incompetence. Guy's grossly incompetent, and he should be sued. I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now. I would remove him in a heartbeat. It's possible there's fraud involved with the $2.7 billion renovation.
And can you reassure the American public that his longstanding criticisms and public comments about Powell had nothing to do with the investigation?
Look, the president has every right to criticize the Fed chair. He has a First Amendment right, just like all of you do. As for whether or not Jerome Powell is a criminal, that's an answer the Department of Justice is going to have to find out.
And if we had a Fed chairman that understood what he was doing, interest rates would be coming down too.
I think he's terrible. I think he's a total stiff.
He should resign immediately. We should get somebody in there that's going to lower interest rates.
So this all appears to be blowing up in the White House's faces tonight. We're hearing more and more Republicans, Mark Ford, who are basically saying, we're going to hold up anybody else that Trump might want to put in this job until this is done. And then interestingly, just a few minutes ago, Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C., said the U.S. Attorney's Office contacted the Federal Reserve on multiple occasions to discuss cost overruns and the chairman's congressional testimony, but we were ignored, necessitating the use of the legal process, which is not a threat. The word indictment has come out of Mr. Powell's mouth, no one else's. None of this would have happened if they just responded to our outreach. First of all, that sounds very defensive to me. But secondly, I mean, do you buy that cost overruns would require the U.S. Attorney's Office to send a subpoena to the Federal Reserve?
I think probably in this case not, Abby. It seems pretty clear this has been a president's priority. I mean, one of the ironies is that he appointed and nominated Jerome Powell.
He seems to forget all the time.
Well, I was in the Oval Office when he had his three finalist candidates, and his question was, who's going to keep rates lowest? And the consensus was the Powell would. And so here we are, years later, and he's concerned that Powell doesn't have rates even lower. I'm not one of these who believes that the Fed is sacrosanct and isn't worthy of criticism. And I think that when we created a Fed, it didn't have $7 or $8 trillion in assets on its books. And so I think